5 weeks now without a haircut. This is just getting beyond the pale. Jack's always said though, if he has a bad hair day, he just puts a hat on. So probably gonna take Jack's lead and put a hat on. Subtle. Here's some wrestling news. AEW say they are not interested in a released WWE star. Could live wrestling crowds return in June or July? We'll talk about that in a moment. And we'll talk about the former WWE star bringing back a classic gimmick. So we are 2 weeks removed now from the mass WWE layoffs, and one name that is very much on the lips of fans still is Heath Slater. Very much considered one of those guys that is just going to get good and get back. He's also been considered as one of those names that may turn up in AEW as well, to which AEW have responded with a resounding no. Oh, okay, fine, not bothered anyway, boss. Cody did a Q&A on Instagram and was asked about Heath Slater coming into AEW, and Cody's answer was quite simply, nope, no on Heath Slater. Cool, that's a bit harsh. That's fine. You know, it's one of those things where I think lots of people have gone, oh, this guy should go to AEW, this one should go to AEW, this girl should go to AEW, this wrestler should go to AEW, everyone should go to AEW, you all go to AEW, but you run the risk of having AEW just become like the island of misfit toys for WWE guys. So I like the fact that they are being meticulous as to who is coming in and when. And for Heath Slater himself, I don't think he's going to be massively upset that he isn't wanted full-time by AEW. He was on Busted Open Radio yesterday having a chat about what he would like to do next. And he said the following: I want to be one of those territory hoppers because I never got to be anywhere else ever. I got signed at the age of 23. I was on the Indies for a year and a half. Then it was developmental. Then from Deep South, from FCW to NXT to WWE. I've never been outside of those walls. I feel like a peacock that can fly. I just want to work and go and have a good time doing it. Fair play to Heath Slater. And he then goes on to talk about how he's getting into better shape. He's changing up some of his in-ring stuff. He's got new music coming. This is a guy who is champing at the bit to get back out there. So look out for Heath Slater doing indie dates near you soon when everything, it's the cliche, when everything gets back to normal. Take a shot every time you hear that. When does everything get back to normal though? Well, according to the governor of Florida, can it be sooner rather than later, please? Thank you. So we were wondering when we would see live crowds back at wrestling shows. And if the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has anything to say about it, it's going to be in the next couple of months. I'm going to read you the quotes from a meeting that he held yesterday, which is certainly an indicator of where things are going. He spoke about sporting events in the state of Florida. He discussed baseball, golf, UFC, and of course, wrestling. And he said the following about wrestling. He said, I wanted the wrestling to be filmed in Orlando. They were going to do WrestleMania in April, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars. I want to keep that good relationship. I want them to invest in Florida. He goes on to say, I don't think we're probably ready to have fans, but I do think that if the trends are good, as you get into June, July, I think there's a window to have some fans. You're not going to have everyone packed in, but in 90-degree weather in the state of Florida, if you're out there and somebody's 10 feet away and you want to watch a ball game, you may be able to do that. We're going to be driven by the facts, driven by the data. So there is certainly a desire to get sporting events back to normal in the state of Florida. I think a lot of people are feeling like that at the moment. Donald Trump chaired that meeting of the sporting bodies where he talked about how they're going to get people back into the venues, because it's not just a case of lifting the lockdown and going, and back we go again. Because there's a lot of people now who are uncertain about going to massive public events. A lot of people that I speak to who say, you know what, I'm probably not going to go to anything until next year now. For a multitude of reasons. I think, and so you are going to be combating not just that, but also there's a big financial element to this as well. A lot of people are out of work, have been furloughed, lost jobs and stuff. They may haven't got the money to go to wrestling live events or live events in general. So it's a combination of fear and a lack of disposable income, which may make this a trickier task than just a case of, and we are open. You know? I think it's too soon, June, July. I don't know. We'll see. Do you know what? I say that, and there's probably a few people already groaning in the comments. Mate, it's not even that bad, mate. Shut up. I think that it's a moving beast, isn't it? It's a phrase I've used quite a bit on these news videos. It's a moving beast. And every week I feel like something changes, like an element of it changes. So we're just going to roll with the punches. WWE, I know for a fact, first chance they get to get people back in those venues, whether it's a small number of people at the Performance Center or at Full Sail or whatever, they are going to do it. On the subject of live events itself, AEW are back to doing live shows next Wednesday. Looking like it's going to be from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Chris Jericho talked about this a little bit with Newsweek, because there's a lot of controversy as to whether or not AEW should go back to doing live shows, because they taped several weeks worth of TV, got it all in the can, everybody went home. So the idea of them coming back and traveling weekly to Daly's Place could potentially be problematic. So he spoke to Newsweek about it, and Chris Jericho said, I think everybody kind of wants to get back to work. We're trying to start slowly and integrate back into life, and I think it's perfect. Now, obviously, we'll take precautions and all of that sort of stuff, but it's time to get back on track, and I'm looking forward to it. I know we'll all have opinions on whether it's too soon for AEW to go back to live shows. I know WWE are doing it already. They're back every week doing a mixture of live and tape stuff. But I think AEW are just keen to start the ball rolling with other stuff. Everything was actually, incidentally, on the subject of sort of the last few weeks of AEW, it's been coming out of Georgia. It was a whole raft of tapings that they did over 3 days. Interesting story as to how and who those shows were put together by and how. There's a sentence in there somewhere, you can find it. Mike Johnson from PW Insider says the AEW Dynamite shows taped in Georgia were all written by AEW president Tony Khan. The word making the rounds is that Khan, realizing that he was going to have a very small crew due to shut-in rulings around the country, sat down and wrote the last 4 weeks of TV on the fly at once by himself in a matter of minutes. Built around the TNT Championship tournament and the local talents that were available, it was very much a trial by fire moment where Khan and his crew had to quickly pivot and come up with something that could work to further company storylines and utilize their reduced resources in terms of crew and talent. Also, we are told, says Mike, that Cody was instrumental in helping put these things together as Khan's right-hand man and was very hands-on, not only with his own programs, but with helping others. Also, love to Chris Jericho from PW Insider as well. Jericho's got a lot of praise internally from all of his work on commentary, which he did off the top of his own head with less than 24 hours notice. Nice. And with putting together the vignettes for the Inner Circle. So it's a team effort, proper team effort from AEW. Teamwork making the dream work for AEW. Woo, woo, woo. Not my words, the words of somebody ordering 1.5 cocktails. And the words of Matt Cardona, the artist formerly known as Zack Ryder. Back in the news today, as there are plans to bring back a bit of a classic gimmick once he gets back and on the road. He trademarked a little something that gave us an insight as to what his plans are. Yes, that's right, it's trademark news. Matt Cardona, the artist formerly known as Zack Ryder, has trademarked the term Internet Championship. An internet champion. He also popped this bad boy on Instagram. Look at that. The reigning ... defending ... hashtag always ready, hashtag not there. Oh, that is, by the looks of it, possibly a new internet championship belt. Or is it the old one? Nah, it looks like a new one. New one being made by the same people that made the first one, the Wildcat Belts Company. Very nice indeed. I like Zack Ryder bringing back the Internet Championship. I've got to stop calling him Zack Ryder because that'll get him in bother. Doing a little bit of research into the Internet Championship. Obviously, it was born on Z, True Long Island story. his YouTube series that he used to do, and it just got a lot of traction as a fun little addition to Zack Ryder's shtick. WWE.com interviewed him about it. I want to pluck up this particular part of the interview. This is from an interview in 2011 with regards to the lineage of the Internet Championship. WWE.com asked Zack Ryder to tell the story of how the Internet Championship was won. Rumour has it there was some big tournament in either Massapequa or East Hampton, Long Island that you won. Zack Ryder answers the following. The 64-man tournament was actually held in Merrick, New York. That's where I grew up. A lot of people wanted to be the first ever Internet Champion, but I used all my tools, Broski Boots, Zack Attacks and Rough Riders, to make it all the way to the finals and win it. There were guys like Spiral, Sky, G-Money, Geronimo, Just Insane, just some of the toughest competitors to ever step foot in the ring. My broski, the Big O, however, lost really quick due to injury. He won in the first round, tweaked his knee, and then couldn't compete in the next round. Desperado was supposed to face Big O and got a bye, but I ended up beating him. Editor's note, named tournament competitors could not be reached for comment. Oh, I do hope Big O recovered. I understand that was a career-threatening injury that he suffered, and we've heard nothing from Geronimo ever since then either, which is devastating news. Welcome back. The Internet Championship, now more valuable than possibly ever. Stay safe. Have a good Thursday. Love you, bye.